So I think, if you look at the strategies that are in vogue, it's cyclical. So I don't really think the strategies change per se. I think what changes is the ease at which you can launch a hedge fund. Back in the day it was a lot easier. Now with regulation, with cost, you probably need 50, 60 million to be standalone viable. I think, to get a seat at the investor table, you probably need $30 million in assets. And so to get to that 30 million, you've got to get access to early stage money, perhaps on different terms. And a big trend that you're seeing now, especially in Europe, is a UCITS structure. So, the old Cayman structure that would have perhaps more locked up money seems to be yesterday's story in Europe. And so to get access to the family offices at that size and to retail money, needing a UCITS structure means you need to give liquidity to the fund and operate in a different way. So I think one is access to money and it being harder to raise. Two's the structure, very much in Europe, the UCITS structure. And I think the third thing that I would say is the ability to get access to prime brokers. The traditional prime brokers have raised the bar in terms of revenues they would expect and minimum assets. So if you're not a established fund raising a new strategy, or perhaps a breakout from a fund going on your own with a pedigree, very hard to not only raise money but to get a traditional prime brokerage relationship. Major disruption is consolidation. I think there's consolidation going on in the industry. As I said, I don't think there's new strategies per se. There's perhaps a better use of technology, but you tend to find there's a dozen mega funds, and those mega funds, it's easy for them to raise money with a new strategy. It's easier for existing managers to break out, but if you're not a mega fund, you want to be an aspiring mega fund or niche. And so I think if you're raising money as niche and you've got a very good strategy or perhaps a pedigree, you can get a fund launched. But if you're not, it's very difficult to do it on your own. So if you look at where innovation would come in, back in the day you would get people like Marshall Wace who would seed funds. Now that's harder, but you've got development in platforms. So people like Marble Bar, which was a fund in its own right and is now a platform, they provide a facility where people can house their fund, sit there, they get seed capital, they get access to investors, they get technology compliance, but most importantly with someone like Marble Bar, they get coaching. So coaching in how to deal with investors and coaching in how to trade. And I think that holistic approach is probably the closest thing that I've seen to innovation in this sector. So IG's been, we're a listed company, we've been operating over 40 years. We trade 15,000 markets around the world, so we've got a very broad product offering. And I think our branding and our visibility in the hedge fund industry has been growing over recent years, but perhaps we're not known to all of the people we should be known to. We're a very strong counterparty in a world where counterparty risk is more and more important. So if you think about our offering, it's very much an OTC offering, it's CFDs, but it's CFDs with leverage on global markets, global instruments. It's a very good alternative to traditional prime broking, and I think this environment and this conference gives us very good access to not only startup funds but developing funds who perhaps want a second prime broker or to launch a new strategy or even go out for the first time, and to see how CFDs could be used as an alternative to traditional prime in a very cost-effective way. I think it's good to get access to clients and tell that story.